Good morning, welcome to Headline Focus here live on Core Politics with me, Rob Double. It is Friday the 27th of April 2018. Let's have a look at what's making the political news here in the UK. And to start off with, it's been confirmed Donald Trump, the President of the United States, will be visiting the UK. Now, there's been endless speculation about this ever since Theresa May went over to Washington to visit and invited him officially for a state visit at some point in the future. There was a bit of a backlash regarding Donald Trump visiting the UK and whether he should be given all the sort of pomp and circumstance of a full state visit. But he'll be visiting on Friday the 13th of July, so in just, a couple months' time, 3 months' time. And it's going to be a working visit, not a full state visit. So basically what he's doing, he's going to be in roughly the area anyway, because he's going to the NATO summit in Brussels. And on his way, he's going to be coming to the UK for, I think reports indicate it's just going to be 1 day for discussions and talks with the Prime Minister, Theresa May. And it's also highly likely, as come through this morning, that he'll be meeting the Queen as well. Now, there is some speculation already in the papers that he actually might be meeting the Prime Minister and the Queen outside of London, so possibly in Windsor Castle. Actually, some people even saying possibly Scotland as well, over in Balmoral or somewhere like that, in order to avoid the embarrassment, perhaps, of having a large number of protesters line the streets when he's coming through London, which might be quite awkward for the Prime Minister. Theresa might not also go down particularly well with Donald Trump as well, given his apparent volatility when it comes to things not going perhaps his way. But that's something on the cards. There's not much details coming through as of yet in terms of who's he going to be meeting, what he's going to be doing. But what we do know, it's not going to be a full state visit. However, that invitation which the Prime Minister gave him is still outstanding, so perhaps sometime in the future we'll see him with the full red carpet and all the trimmings of a full state visit. Next up, Theresa May is under pressure today again over Brexit. Now, she's reportedly under huge pressure to drop her customs partnership arrangement, this kind of vision and strategy she has in place for solving the customs union issue, which seems to be the real crux of the problems to do with Brexit now, specifically over the Irish border and the future trading relationship. Now, Brexiteers are reportedly preparing for a showdown at next week's Brexit War Cabinet, where they intend to pressure the Prime Minister to abandon her strategy. Now, what it is, this customs partnership, is it's kind of like a hybrid model whereby the UK would collect EU import tariffs on behalf of Brussels and then through a mechanism give it back to Brussels. Again, it's a bit unconfirmed yet. The details are not quite there. It's regarded by some, including people from the EU as well as Brexiteers in the UK, as cumbersome and impractical. And there's a fear, particularly from some hardline Brexiteers or those who are particularly committed to a harder stance on Brexit, that would be leaving the customs union completely, that it could leave the option open for rejoining the customs union at a later date, or at least a form of a customs union at a later date, because there's already some kind of arrangement in place. Now, this is a particular issue off the back of what happened to the Home Secretary, Amber Rudd, yesterday. Now, what she did, she's been reported quite widely in the papers today for outspoken comments on the customs union during a press gallery lunch. Now, she was already in a bit of hot water over the Windrush scandal when the comments she made in the Home Affairs Select Committee. We'll park that to the side for the moment. In terms of the customs union, when asked about the government's strategy in terms of staying in or leaving the customs union and what the future arrangement is going to be, she simply said she would not be drawn into the issue, and said discussions about it had to be in cabinet and is yet to be agreed in terms of a final position. Now, that gave the ambiguity, or at least the impression, that she was not fully won over to what Theresa May has been saying is the government policy, which is that the UK is leaving the customs union and will not be committing to any form of customs union relationship with the EU. There's going to be a definite split. Now, in a tweet, she said she clarified her position. But there's some who still think she's being quite ambiguous. She said that she should have been clearer and that the UK will be leaving the customs union in Brexit, but that she did not then confirm in this tweet that there was going to be no customs union future deal down the line. She simply said that it was ongoing cabinet discussions. For some, this might be a slip of the tongue, some people reporting it as that way, she just got her words wrong, but for others it was an actual deliberate move to show her real views, perhaps over a customs union arrangement. She, of course, campaigned vehemently for the Remain camp in the Brexit campaign, has been really reported as a softer Brexiteer alongside Philip Hammond, the Chancellor, and others in the cabinet. Now, This might come to the forefront next week in the Brexit cabinet meeting, or the War Committee. Could also come through in the next few days as people are going to start pushing Amber Rudd, the Home Secretary, and indeed Theresa May as a result, to clarify what is the customs union position of the government and how is that going to fare, particularly in the context of Conservative Party dynamics. Something definitely to look out for next week at least. And finally, looking at Brussels, we can't not look at Brussels at the end of the week, and we're looking particularly at Michel Barnier, who's the EU's chief negotiator. Now, he plans, it's pretty much a well-known secret, that he plans, or at least ambitious, to succeed Jean-Claude Juncker as the European Commission President. It's up for grabs in 2019. Now, this will explains quite a lot the politics of the Brexit negotiations from the EU side. Now, in order for Barnier to successfully become the EU Commission President, he needs to keep the rest of the EU happy. In these Brexit negotiations, he needs to ensure that the EU 27 remains united, completely behind a unified EU position, but he also has to make sure he maintains a strong negotiating position and gets, effectively, similar to what Theresa May wants for the UK, a good deal for the EU so that he can use it as a platform to campaign for the EU Commission presidency. However, as is reported, particularly in Politico today, he has to secure quite a few challenges. First, he has to secure the support of the EPP, the European People's Party nomination. That's a big, powerful political bloc in the EU, and his group that he's from as well. He narrowly lost that to Jean-Claude Juncker in 2014. And he has to win the backing of French President Emmanuel Macron, which the reports indicate he's not perhaps that keen on Barnier taking the presidency after Jean-Claude Juncker. But in terms of Brexit, always consider what Michel Barnier's political ambitions are and how that might impact the negotiations as a whole between the EU and the UK. That's pretty much it for today, your update. Don't forget you can find all the latest on what we're doing here on Core Politics on our Facebook page and Twitter right here. But from me and all the team here at Core London, have a fantastic weekend ahead. See you on Monday.